Hello, hello, my beautiful Population One people. I hope you guys are here to join me in some fun, an interview. I haven't done one in a little while, been shoutcasting, so thank you so much for joining me this beautiful evening. I don't know where you guys are at, but it's hot and sweaty. It sounds like just across everywhere in the United States. We did get a little rain, just not enough. Hope you guys are staying cool. And for those of you in, I don't know, South Africa, I hope you're staying warm. All right, we've got some cool things to look at tonight. We've got one of our sandbox builders for Population One. I am running our stream here tonight on Facebook, Twitch, and Kick. So if you guys know somebody who is supposed to be here, or who should be here, who likes this particular person, or somebody brand new that might find an interest in these builds, share it on out. Invite them in. We're going to get started. All right. Today, our interviewee of the hour is Nosferatu. Did I say that right?
You did.
Ah, phew. I was sweating so bad about that one. Oh my goodness.
I have to second guess it myself.
Yeah, well, we're gonna ask the question about your name. So we're gonna have you answer where you came up with it, but that's not first. First and foremost is thank you for having me in your space, in your building space. This is a cool map.
That was a fun build.
Yeah, looks like it. Okay. It looks very expensive.
It's almost a full budget. I believe it's like 96% actually. And a lot of spheres, which add up really fast, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember learning this from all your other builder friends.
Yep.
Yeah. We're going to start with the easy questions first and head into the more in-depth questions where you can drive us around your different maps, give me examples, and learn more about you and sandbox building in Pop 1. Does that sound good?
Sounds excellent.
Okay. Well, easy one first. Where are you located?
I am in Southern California, right between Disneyland and the beach, actually. So
okay.
About 10 minutes either direction. One way's the beach, one way's Disneyland.
And what do you do for a living outside of all of this building that you do?
My job is boring. I'm actually a director of procurement for a global corporation. So
you buy things?
Buy things and hire companies to do things with the things we bought.
Yeah. So do you do like bids and stuff like that?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. Ew.
Yep. So it's and it's global holdings, so it gets interesting.
Yeah, I bet. I was building an aquatic center once for a recreation center because I was the director of that area, and I had to go through procurement and all the biddings for all of the wave park that we were trying to build at the time. So it was not fun.
Sounds like a new map.
Oh, exactly. It sounds like a fun map. Go ahead.
Right?
I don't want to be in charge of the procurement on that side, but I'll come and play in it.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. So how long have you been playing Pop 1? How long have you been building?
So the same amount of time, actually. I bought Pop 1. I was actually playing after the fall and had a couple real good squads that, we get together every night. And then one of the girls in there bought Pop 1 a long while back, and she kept saying, oh, you have to buy it, you have to buy it. And I bought it, and I literally never even hit load for probably a year.
Dang.
And
okay.
And I finally got an invite actually from Big Box to join Sandbox.
Okay.
And I didn't even know, I had no idea. I'm like, Big Box, what's Big Box? Because I never played the game. And so I had no idea what it was. And so I was like, okay, I'll do that. Like, I didn't even know what it was, and I hit the accept button. So when I first came in was my first time playing, actually, and that was like only, I think, October last year.
Okay.
So not that long, hasn't even been a full year. And so that was my first experience, was coming in into Sandbox, actually. And so when I first came into my first map, I think I'd done the training park, and that was it. I don't even think I would ever even squatted up or anything at that point. And
cool.
I was already looking at maps.
I can't wait to find out more about your learning curve then in this. Yeah,
The
that's pretty
series
cool. Okay,
said
Nosferatu 357. I'm
Nosferatu is a
just guessing
legend.
that the 357 has something to do with maybe the Magnum. I don't know. What is your gamer tag? Like, how did you come up with it? What does it mean to you?
Okay, so the Nosferatu part was way back in high school. I had actually shaved my head, and my classmates named me Nosferatu after Nosferatu the vampire.
Okay.
So that was, they're technically making fun of me, and
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of stuck. And then the 357 actually was a code that was based off of 357 Magnum, but my sister had given it to me, and then I had a code for her back in the pager days. And if we happened to page, because it was, I'm going to say, not necessarily pre-cell phone, but pre most people having cell phones. So
Mm-hmm.
you might get a text, or excuse me, a page from some random number, and we would put that number in, notifying the other person like, hey, it's me.
Yeah.
And so she had 86 from Agent 86, or 888, excuse me, and then I had 357.
Okay.
Which we gave each other our numbers, and then that just kind of
Cute.
combined, and so I kind of use it on all kinds of stuff now.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what level you are currently. If you really have just started, you're just now building, what level are you at? Do you play the game as often
Uh,
as you build?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably mixed.
Okay.
55 is
Oh,
what I
that's
am right
pretty
now.
good.
So
If you, yeah, that's a decent
yeah, so
level
it's I've
for how
leveled.
long?
Yeah, I've leveled up a lot the last couple months because I've been putting a lot of playtime in, actually.
Okay.
But prior to that, it was probably 50.
Very good. Well, once you get to that level 59, it feels like a year. I'm just going to let you know that.
I, I I may have heard that already.
Yeah, it's pretty torturous. Your logo is a clown, which happens to be something very comfortable for me because my significant other, Devil's Reaper, is obsessed with it and clowns and things like that. So, any rhyme or reason to the love for clowns?
Because everybody hates him except for Reaper.
Yeah, that's
that,
total. Like that's the
that
best answer ever. Okay, interview's a
pretty much
wrap.
is it.
Cool. Any
Yeah, I'm a
particular
people
like
pleaser
love
in
or
real
movie
life,
or
but not
anything?
here.
Uh-huh.
uh, Not in particular. I mean, I have to agree with Reaper's, pretty cool. But
Mhm.
there's so many horror movies based on clowns, which is obviously why most people hate them. And
Mhm.
even Halloween, I generally am probably one of the most hated people walking down the street with my kids because it's usually some creepy clown. And so,
That's funny. I'm with you on that one. Let's see here. Do you have any, I don't know if you watch any other Population One streamers. Do you have a favorite streamer that plays this game?
I had actually not really watched any until I started hearing about you and everybody
Okay.
in Pop One talking about you. So I started watching yours.
Ha!
I've popped into a couple other people's,
Uh-huh.
and I've popped back onto yours, and I think part of it is, say familiarity with, like, because if other people that I know are watching you, it's something to talk about. You're like, oh, did you see it yesterday?
Yeah.
Or did you watch it last night? And the other part is I like your stream. So,
Yeah. Well,
so I'm
thank
going to say
you.
I don't have any other ones really, but I have popped into them. I've just never went back to them.
Listen. Very cool. Hey guys, thanks for popping in. Michael Morales, do you got any sexy boots on? Oh, I beat you to it. I am live here on Facebook, Twitch, and Kick tonight. If you guys don't mind, as you're popping into the stream, to share out the stream, find somebody new to bring in here and say hello. Let's see here. How long have you been building? You kind of answered that. Were you a part of the early testing?
Not prior to that, obviously, because that was my first time in.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came in, it was still locked down. It hadn't been made public or anything yet.
Okay.
So
All
the
right.
building wasn't open to general.
All right. Let's get a feel for like your past in other gaming building options. So like there's a lot of other building games out there, Minecraft, Roblox. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other ones that I aren't in my brain at the moment. Do you have any experience in some of these other builders, and can you compare it to Sandbox?
So I do not build in the other ones, but I have 14-year-old twins that do Roblox and Minecraft, and so
Uh-huh.
I get a, daily eye and ear full of look what I made. And so every now and again, I'll help them, and I don't know how to use those platforms, but I will quote unquote help them fill in an area or something.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, no. But as far as comparisons, I will say I'm amazed. I've got a 7-year-old also. What they can do, like what assets they do have, because
Mm-hmm.
they'll come up and show me a mansion they made, and it kind of looks like something a true company made. I'm like,
Yes.
how did you make that? And I'm like,
Yes.
how come I don't have that in here?
I have a 13-year-old. She plays Roblox, and she does the same thing. She gets in there and she says, "Mom, can you come in here and look at this house?" And then get this, she goes, "Do you like how aesthetic it is?" I'm like, "What?" What did you
Aesthetically
just say?
pleasing.
Uh-huh. Isn't it
Exactly.
aesthetic? I build based on aesthetically pleasing things. Don't you like this? And I'm like,
That's awesome.
who are you? What is happening?
Right? Let me Google that word. I'll be right back.
I know, I know. I had heard it. Thankfully, I had heard it before her, but it's definitely a word she popped out of nowhere. And I'm like, if I didn't know what that was, I'd be like, hold on a second.
Exactly.
For sure. Um,
Yeah, my 7-year-old comes up with that kind of stuff sometimes, and I'm like, how do you? Let me fact check that before I agree with you.
exactly. Just checking to see how Twitch is doing right now, and we've got quite a few folks popping in to say hello. Let's also talk about what your inspiration for builds are. I'm looking behind you. I recognize this game. It's way back in the 80s, guys. Actually, it may
Yep.
be a little. It is an 80s game, right? Is it 82,
Yeah,
83?
I think probably back in that era.
Yeah, okay. So we've got a Cubert map and a beautiful Magnum here. What are your inspirations for builds?
Move that so it's not in your face. um, I got onto with this particular map was the first of maybe 6 video game maps that I did.
Okay.
And I did do the Cubert one intentionally,
13 Raiders from
just based on
Hater
I thought it would be very playable
1981
because
Gaming.
of having the pyramid
Have
shape,
joined.
kind of a King of the Hill type thing to some extent.
Aiden27E.
Yeah.
And so that was the
Said,
start. And then after I'd finished
Hi
this map,
Tipsy.
there was a big chaos thing with this map. But after I'd finished this map, I was like, well, okay, what other like video games might be fun to try to replicate or have
Yeah,
some hint
yeah.
of them in? And so I
Okay.
did go with a theme for a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm just taking a good look around the map here. I want to recognize the Raiders incoming from Hater 1981. Hello, Aiden. Hi, everybody. And thanks for the follow as
1352223.
well.
Thanks for
Guys.
following.
We are in here doing an interview with Sandbox builder Nosferatu. Did I say that right again? Nosferatu.
You got it.
It's one of these maps that you guys may have played in, but we're going to be exploring all of the maps that he's made in Sandbox. And thanks for hanging out. Let's see here. So describe kind of that learning curve as you dropped in here at the same time you learned how to play the game. You get the invite from Big Box. They drop you into Sandbox and they're like, here, build. What was that like for you?
So
Verkid135223.
I'm going to say difficult for sure in a lot of ways because
Hello.
first of all, I had no idea how to use shapes at all. So the first map I made was pure asset, so it populated very quick and it was not playable.
Yeah, okay.
because I had no idea how to play.
Uh-huh.
And so I just kind of built myself like a little city, but there was just no flow to it. And it was not a fun map. But the great part about Sandbox back then was there was a really good group of people, and it was very positive, and just so much positive feedback that came like, hey, don't do that, you need to do this, come look at my map. And because it was so tight knit, when you logged on, it was like I'm going to say the same quote unquote 40 people every
right.
night, and so
yep.
it kind of it got really close with a lot of the people, like far as getting information from them and whatever.
Arms
and then,
reach
playing in the
underscore.
maps they were building and stuff. So
Said,
it definitely helped early
so
on.
true.
Otherwise,
Great group of people.
Without it being open for other people to join your maps as you're building, none of mine. Sure, because I would have had.
Okay. And why do you think people should explore Sandbox? Whether they're playing or building, why do you think it's important for them to come in here and have a little bit of fun, enjoyment?
The building part I don't think is for everybody, because there's a lot of people that I either squad up with or that play with, almost every night, have zero interest in building or whatever. Because I'll be in a map and I'll have it open to friends. They'll hop in and they're like, "Oh, you're building. I'll come back when you're done." Like they want to play.
Yeah.
That being said, a lot of people seem to have switched from the main map to sandbox maps because there's such a variety of them.
Yeah.
And Big Box now obviously has introduced the evolving maps, which I think has brought some people back to the map.
In the
and I think it's great
beta
because it gives a lot
sandbox?
of sandbox builders a chance to, showcase their stuff a little bit more openly. Mixes up the big map, which makes it fun for everybody. But I think everybody should hop in on the sandbox maps, because there are people that I play with in squads that have never been into sandbox, and I'm like, why don't you go look? And like, I'm not interested. I just like this map. It's like, I haven't even tried. And and eventually they seem to float that way, and then it almost seems like all of them enjoy it after they go.
Yeah. Well, and then you get these beautiful stamps of things that you remember from your past, and you guys have been so creative in creating some of these things that bring life to something you've either forgotten
Arms reach
or is something from your childhood memories that just brings joy.
Yes, Nosferatu was in the beta.
Yes, Aiden. Do you remember Aiden from the early building?
I do not remember Aiden, I don't think.
Yeah. He's a really good tester. When you build something, he will find all of your glitches. I promise.
I offer to do that all the time. I'll come in here tonight and I'll look for all the glitches.
I don't remember him, but I'm bad with people and names.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about a building 101. I'm going to have you kind of walk me around this map here and show me around, and then teach me something. Do you have something to teach me? Something in mind?
Oh, teaching? I don't have anything in mind, but I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Okay, cool.
So before we hop down, I'll tell you this map started off 3 times as big, probably, and the original pyramid was a perfect pyramid with 2 pyramids within it.
Okay.
And the pyramids underneath, what ended up happening was I grouped all the pieces, and there was so many pieces when I hit group, it crashed out my headset.
Oh no. Did you save in time?
Yeah, and it crashed out. It was saved, but it would not reload because there was, I think, 1,080 pieces per pyramid, and there was 3 pyramids, and I grouped everything.
X_Devil's
I
Reaper.
didn't know, and so I went onto a Rift headset on my computer, and it actually, I think, had a little bit more memory, and I was able to get in long enough to delete 2 of the pyramids, but when it resaved, the boxes were a little bit offset from each other.
Yeah.
And so I started adjusting everything, and it just, they did, and I ended up just giving up. I'm like, you know what, it's good enough. Because it was just so much work to get everything, it shifted it off grid. And so, so I had to redo that.
This is so cute. It's like the game, guys. You can bounce around and hang out with Cubert. Hi, Cubert. This is such a cool little idea. All right.
So this one I still kept with the theme. If you come down in the corner as far as that, well, I shouldn't say theme. I still kept with my idea of having a pyramid in a pyramid. I just had to scale everything back. And originally this stuff was sort of hidden. I didn't have arrows, but then people weren't figuring out they could get somewhere else.
Okay.
And so you can come inside, and then there's another pyramid to play. And then you can go inside this one, and there's another one. And this is where the 5-star weapons are in here. Like up inside his mouth and stuff up in there.
Okay. And how is the playability in this game? Did you receive some feedback?
It flows. It actually seems to flow pretty good. Because I made it if you hit that bounce pad right, I don't know if you'll hit it right, but you can make it all the way back out.
Have you been watching me?
Yeah, so it's so see, it's like I said, you got to hit it right, and
There we go.
And so it's a quick escape pod. You know, if you're down inside there and just grabbed a nice weapon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the playability, because I keep the fling up. You can kind of fling around the map really quick. And you can host a lot of people on this map, which is nice because it's not a big map, but it has, you know, multi-tiers.
Yeah, this one has a lot of dimensions inwards and
and so
vertically,
you can play with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing I did was the bigger cubits right here have false walls in the mouths, so you can go into them and there's hidden weapons on the insides of all the bigger ones. And so there's, I think it's 5 stars. Yeah, 5-star loot up inside these also.
Nice. Okay.
So you can kind of rejuvenate yourself before you go back out.
Is that the same for all of these large ones?
Yeah, I think all the big ones have stuff in them. The ones around the corners. Or edges, I guess I would say.
Okay. Very cool. Nice.
Now, getting up there is another story. If you hit the bounce pad, you know, you fly, you die. That's how it works.
I can see you have some experience there.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Devil's Reaper? Hi, babe.
Hi, Aiden.
Hello.
Awesome.
One of the things I added later because there was not enough ground cover, so I had kind of light stuff down around the corners or edges, and so I added a whole bunch more of the broken cubes, if you will, and circles and stuff just to provide more ground cover.
I like that.
Because it was really light, and again, that was based off of people's feedback. Added a few more bounce pads. One of the things I learned on
Verkid135,
some people, you know, don't want verticality, some don't want to run, just whatever it is. But it seems like the majority of the
this
people,
Friday.
like to use bounce pads to get places. Even if ground movement's turned on, they like to have a little bit of a cheat, and so I did add more bounce pads just to appease a few more people. And you know, if you don't want them, don't use them, I guess.
Okay, all right. Ooh, this is fun.
But there are a few false walls in this one. A few like you just fell through one of those things, which obviously is intentional. But you know, there's some exits, if you will, that you can take.
Very cool. Okay.
And if you're playing with somebody who's really good with flying, it sucks because they can get away from you really quick.
I like that you added the arrows, though. That kind of dummy proofs the problems that I typically have trying to figure out maps.
I'm going to say you'd be surprised. Some people are like, I can't find it. I'm like, I made the arrow like 6 foot by 6 foot. You sure?
Okay. I don't know where it is. Help. Yeah, that might be me sometimes too. I shouldn't make fun of anybody that does that.
I'm not going to lie. It's me too.
You're on your own map, right? No.
Yep.
Where did I put that thing?
Where am I? Well, what's funny is somebody will kill me with something. I'm like, where'd you find that? And they're like, you made the map. I'm like, yeah, but I don't remember where I put it.
All right. I'm going to give you some extra time on thinking about maybe if there's something you want me to learn so that we can show the viewers something new if they may or may not know. Let's go to what your favorite map is. What is your favorite map you've built?
Favorite map. Let's see.
And while we're doing that, VR Kid, I heard that you have some clan war or something going on this Friday. Good luck with that. I hope that that's not too scary for you, if that's what you're talking about. Ooh, look at this. Clown Town.
Yeah, so this is probably not what I would say everybody's favorite map.
Okay.
But I liked this map
Space
a lot.
Roach
it was
VR.
Almost all my
Thanks
maps have somewhat of a collaboration with
Space Roach VR.
other sandbox builders in it, and this one was just like really fun based on that. I had gotten to a certain point,
Verkid135,
making stuff down below, which will go down, and everybody hopped in. I like Pies, B Wayne, I think more Cowbells, Arms Reach, Searways, Searways, like just everybody hopped in one night. And I mean, we spent, you know, a long time, half of it just talking like we are now, but the other half, you know, building and trying. And there was other people too. So I apologize, whoever I didn't mention, but we just kind of knocked it out. Everybody kind of just took apart and started doing their own thing, whatever they wanted to make.
Okay.
And it kind of came together really good. Like if we go around to the outside over here, Searways actually was the one, because I kind of had an idea about making some tubes on the outside, this
They're
long
so
tube, because that
colorful
bounces
and
you.
fun.
Yeah, that long tube takes you from like one end to the other and into the loot room. But
The Seaways.
he was saying, he's like, well, he made like these little half circle ones.
I
and
love
he's like,
this
well, what if
map.
it just like is just like a quick little escape, but some of them boost you out, some of them don't, some of them take you somewhere else. So he kind of came up with that idea, which I think is confusing to a lot of people. Like you can see this big long one you're circling around right now. But I love that about it. It was just it's so random when you're in gameplay. You really don't know where you're going to end up.
Well, and Searways is saying that he loves this map. And thank you, Space Roach, for that sub. Let's go. I want to show you guys in chat, though, kind of what he's talking about. We've got these they're all actually pieced together, but each one of these colors that you're seeing here, let me click outside of that. These are all separate shapes that have been smashed together and intricately placed at the right angle in order to make these tubes. So this is how much time these builders will spend in here just for something aesthetically pleasing.
So there you go.
There you go, guys. See this? Yeah.
So yeah, it's tons of pieces to make these things.
They will walk themselves through this kind of torture just to please you. Indeed, indeed. I'm excited to go inside. What's the best way to explore this place?
So the pre-spawn actually starts you out up on top.
Okay.
So when you're spawning in, you're up here, and you don't have access inside, but people can go around the outside and see the boost tubes or whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The gameplay does start underneath. We'll go through the shield. It does not start here, but we'll start here anyways.
Okay.
So this is everything up here is like 5-star loot up here. You can get to it through a couple of the tubes that are on the outside of the map. Will boost you in, like right above your head up there is one of the entry tubes.
Okay.
And then this right here actually is a intake and exhaust, we'll say. And I believe Searway made this also. If anything, I know it was his idea. I think he made it. So straight down below, if you drop through the hole and don't hit the presents, if you can stop yourself before you get down, because they'll boost you back up. There you go. Back up. Told you.
You're funny. We're going to do this a cheat way.
So that is one way to get up to the loot room, but you have to expose yourself in the middle of the room. So it's, you got to be careful.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, you have the Saw guy in here. Hell yeah, look at you.
That's how it started, was me trying to replicate him, and I don't think I was extremely successful.
Verkid 135223.
And then made other guys who are nobody, but just
it is
fillers.
about
I didn't want
that
a million
clan wars
of the
that's
guys
happening
in here. So yeah, it
this
started
Friday.
with the tricycle and the Saw guy. That's how this map started, and I did not know what it was going to be. It's like, okay, like a circus big top ring. And then that's when everybody hopped in. Like I think B. Wayne made the dogs, and
this is so cool.
Yeah, it's I don't remember. Everybody
they're
hopped
each
in.
kind of doing something different and funny, like the balloon dogs, and over here we've got the cards being shuffled, and some ice cream, and more balloons. We've got the dog.
Yeah, and that was all like Wayne
shit.
And Yep. That was special.
Wait.
It's
Who put this
in? It's a balloon animal.
Who put this turd in?
This was B. Wayne, I believe, but it's balloon crap, so it's okay.
That's right. It is balloon crap. It has a little balloon tie off on it. Makes it totally fine.
It does.
At least it's
and
not
over
the seaman map. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And then Airs 51 the witch, one of the other players, she despises clowns, and so had to throw her into the map.
Nice. And they're holding. Now, is this a carefully placed launcher, or did you build it?
It is. You can. No, it's placed. So I wanted it to be usable so somebody could grab it.
Perfect. Nice.
Yeah, and there's loot everywhere in here. And then, just depending on which one of these little tube things, you can see people spawn in them, and depending on which one you go into is where you're going to end up. You don't know.
Verkid 135223.
So it makes it hard to kill people, but it also makes it hard to survive because you end up getting shot out right into it. They're all different boost strengths and angles, and I think everybody had a play into how those things were going to work.
Very cool.
And
well,
yeah, during gameplay, a lot of people get pissed off.
Because they keep getting shoved back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, because they they try to escape you, and it sometimes makes the situation worse. But that's part of the game. So.
They would go right back into your fire. Oh, that would be me.
Exactly.
Every time I pop in to like play test or whatever with you guys, all the builders are in there. Not only do I get slaughtered, but like you guys have the upper hand on these maps and you know what you're doing, and so then I look like a complete fool. Love it. Oh gosh. All right. So you showed me a favorite map. What about showing me a blooper? Do you have a fail that I can laugh at you and make fun of you? Okay, excellent.
I do, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I love the bloopers.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why when we get there. Let's see. And right now, my pictures versus the titles are not lining up, so hopefully it takes us to the right one.
Thank you guys for joining. I'm live on Facebook, Twitch, and Kick tonight. I am interviewing our sandbox builder, Nosferatu, and we are just taking some runs around all of these beautiful maps. And thank you so much for joining in the streams. I also want to encourage you to share out the stream. That's what's important to me, is getting these maps in Sandbox recognized. Maybe some hearts on there for some favorites. Oh my goodness, we have Donkey Kong. Babe, are you still in here? This is freaking awesome. Okay, but this is a fail. You're saying this is a fail?
Yeah, yes and no. Visually, no. Playability, yes.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so this map started off, I'm going to say 30 to 40% bigger than it is right now. Which in theory was nice because the actual play zone up above was, I'm going to say, a normal size map at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was because it's strictly vertical gameplay almost, it made it almost near impossible to find somebody because your opposing team, regardless of where they spawned, always seemed to migrate to the top, and if you were down at the bottom, you just never got there. And by the time you did, you got killed 4 times. So it just the pure verticality just did not work. Like this is, the spawns 1, 2, 3, which are like the primary spawns, were down here. So this is obviously the loot room where you initially spawned and might respawn.
Mm-hmm.
So you looted up fine going in. You get absolutely everything you want, and then you came through here, and your other team loads in. If you glitch through to the other side, they're actually on the opposite side. And so they load in really far away, so they're not probably going to shoot you when you're on this ground level because they're so far away. So if you head to your left is where their spawn room is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But as soon as you start going up, everybody just instantly migrates to the top. And it just didn't play that well.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Okay.
I mean, there's plenty of cover.
I mean, this is super cool and gorgeous. Did you look at the game as you were building this? Were you playing the game, looking at pictures of the game? How did you construct?
I did look at it, and originally, like with the, I guess you call them ramps or trellises or whatever you want to call them, there was like 5 maybe 4, whatever it was. That's what the game had.
Yep.
But you died really quick at that point. It was not enough gameplay area, so I added more. Definitely had help with this one. Have to give 100% credit to the Donkey Kongs themselves, to B. Wayne. I know Arms Reach was in here and helped build some of the stuff too, but B. Wayne knocked out the gorillas themselves. I mean, they just came out epic. Made this one here and then one up on the very top of the map, and he's just such a good builder. I mean, it took him like an hour and he made the thing, and I would not have had the teeth done by that point. So. Yeah, I mean, it just came out perfect, and that's why I say, like, aesthetically, it's a really cool, at least to me, map. And we put the barrels on fire, and if you touch them, they're super high damage.
I noticed that.
If you fling through, you will die if you touch them, and which is in the game is the exact same thing when you're actually playing. The ends of the map, we put these boost tubes, which is that's your panic to get out of a room.
Yep.
So if you hit that, that takes you down to the loot room like really fast.
Okay. Nice.
So it's I was like, yeah. So I mean, I thought it was gonna be like just like, oh, this map's gonna be awesome. Like people can get in, they can boost down and get more loot whenever they need more bombs or whatever. And it just does
Didn't
not
work
play
out like that
well.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have a really full lobby, it works. Okay, but anything less than a full lobby, it's just too big. And I was gonna size it down, but it's really hard to size down when you have like those trellis structures, because when you start squishing them, all the pieces offset, they don't line up anymore, so you really have to rebuild them.
Okay.
And I was not into rebuilding it. It was a long time just to get them made in the.
Then we would consider this one art over playable. But in terms of art over playability, do you seem to lean towards one more than the other?
I have to lean with playability because I don't have the art.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're looking at this. I don't have the art.
Yeah.
you built the entire arcade game, Donkey Kong.
Yeah. It's no, but the pretty stuff I don't build. The pretty stuff is always somebody else hopping in helping.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that. If the build is
the structure itself,
like this,
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the pretty stuff, but to me, that's what I liked about Sandbox from day one, is just, going in and talking while you're building and, making friends or whatever. And just the collaboration of it. That's what's nice about it, because it's not normal gameplay, obviously, because you're not necessarily playing at that point.
Okay.
But I like bringing other people in. And so like when I see, if you were building a map and like, oh, I wish I could build this gorilla, I might hold up, let me do a friend invite real quick. And so I try to pull other people in whenever I can, get somebody else's map looking nice. So
nice. Very nice. Okay.
And it's and you get a lot of introductions that way too, which is fun.
Let's see here. What is your favorite dev map, or do you have any favorite dev maps that you can speak to?
Are we talking sandbox builders?
Yep.
So that's a tough one for me because there's so many good sandbox builders. I think I tend to lean towards the ones that I kind of met first, like Arms Reach and Cowbell. I like Pies, etc. I like Cowbell's Lily Pad, for instance, is to me just such an underappreciated map, because I don't know what his likes are at now. Yeah, I mean, let's say it's 900 or 2000. I don't even remember, but we play it almost every night. We play it, and it plays so good. But but the visuals are maybe as good or better than the playability, and the playability is as good as any map. So I don't get why, you'll hop into some maps like in Discovery or whatever, and you're like, how does this map have 500 likes and that one has 900 likes? It's not the guy put 2 diesel trucks at one end of the map and you got 500 likes. So it's like I think some are definitely underappreciated, and I wish the algorithm would bring them back in where they need to be. And if it's not algorithm, it would be nice, I think, if some of the original maps got placed back in. Because they're just so good, and I think they were definitely a lot of the inspiration for some of the newer builders, and some of the new guys are doing excellent stuff. But I like that map a lot, and there's so many great ones. Like B. Wayne has his Hollywood map that's really nice. Obviously, aesthetically it's a big map, but just like you can spend all day just going around looking at stuff. I was. God, what other? I don't know. There's just so many. It's like Inception's another one. Everybody loves to hate that map. Like, oh, it's making me dizzy. Do you want to go out? No. Let's play. Yeah. And you're like, well, I thought you just said it was making you sick. like which one is it?
Yeah, the twisting, turning, dropping feeling that you get in
Arms
VR.
Reach _
for sure.
Yeah, and like newer builders
Absolutely.
like Ramnusha's made a
the
couple
algorithm
really cool maps
is not
lately
always fair. And there have been a lot of maps to the fallen victim to it.
I've been in her maps, and they're nice. Space Team, DJ Noble makes some really cool maps. And some of them are super basic, I'll say, but they're really really fun. There's the Whack-A-Mole map that's really good, and there's just some really good maps out there.
We're going to have like a huge builder celebration where I can stream and you guys can just like run me around to all of your different maps.
Right? Exactly.
All the ones that we saw on the streams and all of the new ones that I haven't seen and you guys didn't have time for. That would be cool. How long does it take to build one of these maps in general? Or are they completely different?
I was just saying, this map for some reason was just the biggest headache to me. Again, it was a lot bigger at the time. I worked on it for, I'm going to say, a couple of weeks because I kept changing it, like deleting it all the way back out and changing it. So it was just a horrible experience from the start all the way till almost the finish. But I usually finish mine because I don't get as detailed as a lot of people do. Like Armstreet's maps are, I don't think you can put a piece of paper between two building blocks that he puts up because he makes sure they're perfect.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And I'm like, I'm more like, okay, from here you can't see it, And so I usually spend a couple days and I finish them. And part of that's because I don't necessarily need the visual perfection because I think when people are playing, actually I know, like, because I'll point something out and they go, I didn't even notice that. And so people are playing, they're not necessarily looking at the, fine details. But usually somebody else comes in and helps too, because they're like, hey, you playing? I'm like, nope, I'm building. Oh, do you want some help? Yep.
Now,
that obviously knocks it out quicker.
Do you work on one map at a time, or do you like to bounce around different ideas until you're kind of like feeling to come into this one to finish it? What does that look like?
One of mine, I'll say, I work on because I usually don't start another one for the most. I probably have 15 that are started that I never finished, but I fully have abandoned them and just not deleted them. But I'm usually helping somebody else with something basic, so every couple of days somebody asks me to go in and just do something. And so I'll be in multiple maps, but usually I finish mine before I start another one.
I just have a great idea for all you builders that have those maps that you've started and you've abandoned. Put those up on the community for free copy build, and then drop it off with some other new builders and see if they can make something out of your half-ass builds.
It's not the worst idea, actually, because I've been in some of the other people's maps and I'm like, why did you abandon this?
Yeah, trade about all of your abandoned maps to see if somebody else has kind of a better feel for it or inspiration, and why not? If you had something going and somebody's like, oh my god, that's like my favorite character, I'll finish it, take it over, here you go.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, well, all right, so let's talk about how many maps you have total.
Let's see if it will show me. I've got 15 published, which is the max.
Okay.
And I've got, because I've deleted a bunch that I just didn't want to look at anymore, and I've got, it looks like 9 others. Actually 7, because 2 of them I know I abandoned.
Okay.
But yeah, I do have a full 15 published.
All right, take me to one of the other maps.
I will take you to another one. Let's see. Let's go to this one, and this is a new one.
Hello, Shauna. Hello, Heather. Thank you for popping in the stream. I want to say hello to you guys. Arms Reach, haven't got to acknowledge you, Darhan. And all the folks that are kind of sitting around and checking out these super cool maps. We are in the, what is this one called?
This is Aladdin.
Okay, perfect. Aladdin. I didn't know that. We are on the magic flying carpets. It's a whole new world in here. And we're going to go ahead and explore, yeah? Show me around.
Okay, so to start, Aladdin is covered up with the flying carpet like he was in the movie, but that is because I cannot make a face, and so until somebody who can make a face comes in here and helps, that is what he gets.
Okay,
and
that's all right.
So I've already put the cry out for help and said somebody needs to come finish Aladdin, so he actually has a face. But until that happens,
please somebody come make a face. The little monkey.
B. Wayne made yep, and he made him, and he made the genie. I had another genie that I was like, it looks pretty good, and then B. Wayne came in and made that one, and I almost had to buy a new headset because I was going to throw it when he was done.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay, so that's what it's supposed to look like. I understand.
I totally made that, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Deleting his name out of the credits.
The genie lamp back here. So where is it that you spawn in? Down here in Agrabah, or?
There are spawns everywhere.
Okay.
Couple like up on the carpets, couple up high, couple down low behind the castles. So this started off as just going to be, I don't know if you want to call them castles or whatever, just kind of like that. I called it Arabian Nights when I first made it. And it was not going to have Aladdin, but then I was like, oh, I'm going to put some flying carpets. And then I was like, okay, maybe Aladdin. And when I was talking to a couple of people, they're like, oh, you should try to build the genie. And so I did. And then when Wayne got done laughing, he built me a nice one. And yeah, so that's kind of how it started. I did scale it down because it was going to be just an op map, but then, you know, a lot of people aren't fans of those. So I scaled it down 30 or 40% so that there could be some ground playability to it. It still seems like 80% of the people stay up and use an op, which I'm kind of glad about because that's what it was meant to start. I was thinking about I might scale it down again one more time and make it even better for ground play, but I haven't done it yet. This map was only published not the Friday we just had, the one before, and it had got over 400 likes in 5 days, and then it fell off of the discovery, and I think it's got 12 since then. Because you know, after it falls off, it's hard to get the likes back in. But but it gained a lot really quick. But this one, if you come up, both of the castles have a false wall in the back, and again, I put an arrow. I didn't make it quite as visible.
You know, I like the secret.
But I kind of gave the shout outs on the walls in here.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, so kind of to people that helped me out, because Arms Reach and Cowbell helped with some of the carpets, and B. Wayne built the big pretty stuff. And there's absolutely everything in the loot room.
This is cool. Yep. Yum.
And people were killing you as you came out, so I made an escape hatch right there so you could get out without getting dead.
Nice.
And then the other castle is basically set up the same exact way. The entry's off the back again. Through a false wall, and it's literally the exact. I just transferred the loot over, so it's literally just copy paste.
Nice. And again, I did
I did the call outs for them.
Very cool.
And mine, but
all right.
And this one also has the little escape corner right there. If people are killing you as you're trying to get out.
This is where I would stand. Right there in that
right,
corner.
Exactly. Got both of them covered that way.
Yep. Well, this map is pretty awesome. The genie looks cool. Somebody come in here and fix Aladdin's face, please.
Exactly.
Oh, here's a test for
y'all. Right now he
y'all.
looks like me. That's not good.
Possibly an age test for everyone. When Aladdin first came out, the cartoon in Disney actually had a different cover and a different song that plays at the beginning of the movie. Just a little tip for tat there if you want to learn about that. I'm not going to repeat it though because it's now politically incorrect. But yeah, they had to remove some of the wording of the original Aladdin song because it offended some folks. So they had to recreate both an offensive song and cover of their movie. So yeah, fun fact.
I don't remember that. That's interesting. And look at these carpets that More Cowbell, I think, built both of these ones right here. Like, kind of still baffles me.
Now look at them, guys. We're talking about now. These are all like put together. All the pieces are put together here. But we've got this here is a piece. Let me unclick. This here is the piece, and then all of these curves are separate pieces. And then the outside has different framework of separate pieces. So these aren't just like things that you can grab and place in here, but they also have tassels on them. Look at the tassels.
So that carpet, I just checked right now, and I think there's one that uses more than this particular, but this is 1.8% of the budget is that carpet you're standing on.
Wow, okay.
when you look at the amount of
Oof.
carpets that are around, the budget disappeared really quickly.
Yeah, and you've got a lot, but you also need them for that, the ability to bounce around in the sky and land in certain places. Yep. Okay. Very
so like
cool.
those bounce pads that you have actually land you onto one of the ones with the shield, so you're a little protected when you land. And Rave Fam actually came in when I was building and told me he needed some shields so he could kill more people. And so that's why I added the shields, was for him.
Very cool. All right. Well, as you travel me to a new map, let's talk about when you're building. Do you like to partake in some tasty drinks or listen to certain music, or how do you like to build? In silence?
If nobody's in, I do turn on music. If people are in, then usually just the conversation just kind of rolls. Let's see here. Let's go to this one. Make sure our audio is good when we load in.
Is it, Oh, syringes! I've made syringes in one of my maps. These are awesome. Oh, snap. I gotta go back down. Oh my gosh, it's like the coronavirus in a syringe.
That's kind of what it was.
Oh, nasty.
Yep. That's why it's called 2 weeks.
Oh no, 2 weeks. Yep. You're now isolated for 2 weeks. Sorry, guys. It's a giant syringe. Ew. Okay, let's talk about playability in this one.
So this one is a very vertical map. It actually plays pretty well with a really small lobby or a really big lobby. Because the fling rate's really high in it. It's a full loadout on weapons. If you look in the syringes, there's kind of something, I think in almost all of them, either virus stuff or like, heals or bombs, grenades, whatever.
Yep.
So you can kind of grab stuff out of them. Like even the one up here is full of zone grenades up in this one. But the playability in this one works really good, but it ends really fast if you're in with a big lobby, because somebody will get, 30 kills really quick if they're on solos, and if it's on teams, it's even faster. So we usually will run solos just to make it last a little bit longer. But it's you can't stand still in this map. There is no camping. You end up dying because there's kind of spawn points at every level. So if you stand there, you will die. So it's anybody who's used to standing, like me. I hide in the darkness and take advantage when I can.
I was just going to mention that this map would make me super dizzy because I do stand on my feet to play, but I also turn my feet as I play. So not only am I using like I'm not using, what is it? Not snap turn, but the one that a lot of folks like to use, the quicker one. I don't know. I use the medium
rotation?
one. Yeah, the rotation. That kind of makes me nauseous. So I use the medium one. But so I'm also moving my feet as I turn. And so if I'm moving my feet and I'm running the same direction in this map the whole time, I can literally see myself falling over.
I would say very few people actually, which, this is obviously a double helix. The idea was to make a syringe with the double helix, and it slowly turned into viruses and stuff, but it was to play exactly like you're saying, running. Nobody runs up the ramps. There's no time when you have a lobby, because everybody kind of bounces.
Yep.
Or drops, and so you're only on the platforms for a millisecond. Most of it's almost always fling in this map. Everybody flings from one thing into the next, in between your deaths.
Okay.
And
so
there's
the
not
fling?
much
Is it
running.
high fling, or what kind of fling do you have set up?
What do I have it at right now? It is, I think, fairly high, but I don't think I had it boosted all the way. Let's see.
I can't believe you've created the COVID molecule.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just barely into the high zone, so it's not super high, but it's enough that it gets you where you need to go.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm really proud of? I'm gonna turn off my. alerts real quick because people are wanting to chat tonight. Holy moly. Lots of messages popping through. I don't even know if that will fix it. But so I am really proud that I'm looking at your syringes, and I built some syringes and they look fairly similar. So like they're
That's
not
funny.
as good as yours, but I'm going to say that like I think I knew what I was doing for at least one thing. That's awesome.
Well, well, let's hope that's the case because I was happy with them. So I'm glad to say that. Glad to hear you say that. They're not horrible. Like, what are you trying to make right here? I can't tell what these are.
Very good. Well, so what things do you want added to Sandbox? Either to make it easier or ideas that you have. There's been a lot of suggestions, a lot of great suggestions. What things would you like to see the devs throw in here for you guys?
So I think everybody's mentioned like breaking glass and stuff like that, and those things would be nice. One of my things, because I catch myself doing it all the time, I'll be building something, and because I kind of get the idea in my head and I start making the structure, and I'll have 50 pieces. I'm like, now I need to color them. So ungroup and color 50 pieces. It would be nice if you could group something and say, this is going to be black. And that would be awesome. But what would be really, really nice is like a malleable shape. I mean, be it a square, round, whatever, instead of just making a sphere bigger or smaller, or maybe, you can oblong a little, to truly just be able to grab it and silly putty, essentially, because you could fill in holes, you could, contour a face if you're trying to make a face. I think if there was some way for them to make something, a malleable shape would just be awesome. And I guess the other thing would be when you're using a shield shape or something like that, to not just be a square, like if you could take any of the shapes and turn those. Because like when you're trying to use a shield in a round, say if you use the torus and want to put a shield in it, well, now it's a square and the corners stick out, through the round thing. So it'd be nice if you could actually just take a shape and use that as your invisible wall and or a shield. It would be nice to be able to turn those into those objects instead.
Agreed. That would be cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do some map surfing. I'm curious because we've talked a little bit about your secrets and hidden weapon rooms and such, and I like the secrets. So, do you have any great places to show me where we might be able to investigate some of your trap rooms, your secrets?
Sure. Let's go to this one. Wow.
Ooh.
So this is the Nothing map because I could not come up with a name, so I called it the Nothing.
The Nothing. Okay. So any relation to the never-ending story?
It's funny because originally this was a map with giant snowmen, and there's still one reminiscent one there, and it was snowmen fighting with different weapons.
Okay.
And there was a mom and a dad, and that was little Junior down there who didn't make it, unfortunately. And so there was evil snowmen in the map as well. Well, I changed them into rockmen because Christmas was over. And I was trying to come up with a name for it, and I called it the Nothing, and it had nothing to do with the never-ending story. And the first person who came in is like, "Oh, did you build the Falcor?" And I'm like, "What?" Like the Nothing. I'm like, "Oh, I forgot about that guy." I'm like, "Well, this doesn't even look like that guy." And I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, if you say so." Like, and I thought about trying to replicate the movie, if you will, but the map was already done, and I didn't want to. I was kind of over it at that point, and I went, I'm just going to leave it how it is.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so yes and no. But far as hidden stuff, this one actually does have some easy hidden areas and some harder ones. Like you've got like the water in the lake down here, and this is, I'm going to say, kind of everybody will find.
Here we go.
Way over here. Everybody will find this because everybody I think tries water. So this is some loot down here and playability area.
Yep.
But up above is more so. So again, I put arrows because it made it easier for people to find these things. But inside here is, I actually buried
this is
one of the
actually
buildings
one
in
of
here.
the buildings. Yeah.
It is. And so, and again, I put the sky diving guy out here because you can get out through that rock. It's a false wall.
Okay.
So it is an escape. But if you go up, it's the entire building is in here. And there's 5-star weapons hidden in here. And again, I've got the flyaway symbols as artwork up above you on this next level.
Okay.
And it's because you can get out here again if somebody's chasing you. So,
yeah. Oh, I like that.
Then, and I believe there might be a spawn in that one. Way up here up above you is another one
yellow spawn.
That's very similar. Again, I put an X on a wall. Over here to your left is another like buried building again. I didn't know when I was doing this that, using their assets cost more than building it yourself. And so I used their buildings just to kind of, build my box, and I just never took their buildings out. And to free up some space, I should probably go back and delete some of theirs. But again, you got to spawn in here. People can loot up before they go out. From the outside, it's not super visible that, there's people up in there. And there's 2 more, I think. Yeah, 2 more big areas with buried buildings down here. This one right here is several entrances on this one. There's entrance right there, entrance down here and around back. But if you go inside it, obviously there's loot right there. And if you go into the lower one, and this is, I think, 2 buildings buried, and I did delete, I think, the buildings out of this one. And again, the guy's spawning in here, but if you go up here, so quasi-hidden again.
Too high?
Sitting down, and I never sit down and play, and I'm sitting down right now. But you can squeeze through there, and I did that on purpose. I didn't want it super easy, but again, you've got more stuff hidden in here, and there's multiple exits coming out of here. Kind of a king of the hill situation up on top, but again, drop down below where you were, and we got yet more. And here's where the building still resides. And if you turn on your fly zone in here, I turned the buildings on their sides, and you can go. I think there's 3-story buildings side by side. And if you go through, which area are you in? Okay, so you're right there. So you can go through the holes in the upper parts of the buildings, like up here, and get into the next one. I aligned them so you can get to the next building, since obviously, you can't fly through it when you're not in dev mode. So
the sideways windows.
Yeah, and then the windows on the end of the building, you can actually go out on the front where I'm at right now, and you can walk through because it's a false wall again, and you can get back into the building that way also. So if somebody's chasing you, but again, I threw an X up there because people just seem to not be able to find it. There's an arrow right here that can draw you in, so that one's not hidden. I'm like, hey, go in there.
Doorway. Hello.
And then this one over here has a couple quote unquote secret entrances also, but this is the whole nightclub is in here, and it's looted up from floor to ceiling, like kind of stuff on every level.
Nice. Okay.
So this is a huge map, obviously. And so I turned it into a battle royale map. Yeah, I made it a battle royale map just because it's so big. Otherwise, if you don't have a full lobby, it's hard to find people. But there's just so much floor space on this one. Too big, sort of, if it's not battle royale.
Okay. I like it.
And then, the rock monsters have loot up in them in their mouse chain. It seems like a lot of people spend their time up in them. I think it kind of draws people up to them. I don't know if it's the best place to play from.
A nice op, and you can make it all the way up here towards the teeth. Look at that. You've got your extra loadout. You can throw some nades, and I mean, you're pretty much set if you've got an op down here and you can spot people.
If you're HMR or Airs 51, it's a good place to be. If you're anybody else, it sucks because they kill you.
I see that. Okay. Yo, thank you, NYC, for that sub. Nice. Okay. So let's do, what kind of feedback do you want to receive from the people that jump into your maps? What kind of stuff helps you and, guides you to building better things or fixing stuff?
So first thing that I kind of, I'll say, learned from feedback is there's always somebody who hates everything about your map.
Yep,
It's
yep.
I'll be in just somebody else's map that's just an amazing map, and say it's in Discovery, and then you'll hear just people just like trash talking. You're like, well, what map do you have that's better? Like, 'cause
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
this map's got 2,500 likes. I think you might be wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Um, so I mean, the first thing is you can't instantly, because I was changing things really quick at first based off of one person going, oh, that needs to be smaller, needs to be bigger, and I was instantly changing it, and then I think I was ruining some of my maps by going off of instant feedback.
Yeah, okay.
Um, but I like any feedback, to be honest with you, because it is, if most people feel a certain way, um, I don't, I would like to make the map playable for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't do it to please them per se, but I would like that they enjoy being in the map. I don't care
Okay.
how many likes a map gets or anything else, but if people aren't enjoying it, then, then whatever. And I have had a couple maps where I'm like, I'm not changing it because I like the way it is.
Yeah,
The clown
yeah.
map's a prime example. I had a lot of people who wanted the tubes taken out. I actually like them, and I'm like, what? I don't care. They're staying. Like, I'm like, it's going to stay the way it is.
Yep.
But I like any, and positive stuff's nice too, because you can carry it forward to another map. If somebody says, hey, I really like the way this plays this way, or I like, that rock monster, whatever it is. It's like, okay, well, let's do that in another map. So it's, it's nice to have constructive criticism, and it's nice to have positive feedback too, that, you're like,
Very
oh, hey, I'll
good.
try to write the next one.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the fantastic builders that you've already given some shout outs to, but those that have helped you, inspired you, those that you want to give recognition to. Now's the time to just kind of give me some of them shout outs and say thanks.
Oh, geez. So who
He's all,
have
let me pull
not
up the Discord and look at who's in there.
yeah, just like totally right. It's so have not physically helped, but have been inspirational just on, like, I had no idea you could do that. Ask Clown has some really cool stuff. Weller, obviously, everybody knows, has some really cool stuff. So the inspiration wise, as far as seeing what they did was really cool. Like at the very beginning when I first came into Sandbox, Arms Reach and more Cowbell, I probably spent more time than they will want to admit talking their ear off at early Sandbox. But I just kind of sat back and watched. I wasn't even helping them build because I didn't know how, but I was just watching how they did it, and and then just watching them play too. Because they're good players, and so it's very helpful, and still, because I'll bug them and hop into their maps or vice versa, look at what they're building, ask them to play, and which is nice. And Wayne, I can't even get close to touching what he does. I mean, his rock monsters would probably look like they're eating you right now or something. I don't know what he would do with them. Searway, I think, started late compared to a lot of people, but he came in hot and heavy. I mean, he started just knocking maps out, and they're just super playable, and his aesthetics just got better and better. Red Rum's another one, same thing, started like a couple months ago, I think. He asked me to look at one of his maps, and I gave him like a little bit of feedback, and he just ran with just everything, and every map he goes into, and he builds them in like 3 days, and they're like amazing maps. Like, I don't know if you've been like in his Psycho map or anything. He just knocks them out. He published Aliens the other night, like
wow.
Aliens versus Predator type thing, and
I haven't seen it yet.
wasn't exactly.
Okay.
It's awesome. Unfortunately, the budget got eaten up because the stuff that he built's expensive.
Yeah.
He wanted to have like a ton of aliens and whatever, but
yeah, that makes
I think
sense.
his one alien's like 18%, and he wanted to have like 40 of them or something.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen. But yeah, so he it was not exactly what he had envisioned, but it's just visually, you just stand back and like, did you do that?
Yep.
So it's
wow.
but yeah, there's a ton of people, and like I said earlier, like Space Team and DJ Noble have some really cool maps that we play like every night, and there's there's just so many. There's just so many good builders now. And I think it's everybody feeding off of other maps, because I've brought people into like Ramnusha's maps. I'm like, hey, you got to come and look at this map, and it's other like way better builders than me. And sometimes like, yeah, no, I've already seen somebody. I'm like, have you seen her? And like,
yeah.
And they get in, they're like, oh wow. Like, and it's like you're kind of, but I think that you become, and it was funny because the other day one of the other builders is like, okay, that just made me rethink my whole, like, they're gonna change. They didn't know that was could come out that way. Like, I think I'm gonna start building stuff like that. And so it's, I think everybody I think the maps are gonna get better and better as more people get better and better, because we're feeding off of each other, and that's what's kind of cool about it. It's
exciting.
It is. And there's still a lot of, it seems like most of the people who build are pretty open about how they built something, or hey, do you want a copy of it? Even if they don't open it publicly for copies, like most people seem to be a million times. And I don't care if people copy my stuff. I usually unlock them right away for the most part. But it's kind of nice. It's when Sandbox, when I first went into it, there was just absolutely zero toxicness whatsoever during build, during play, whatever. When it went public, obviously you might have, squeakers, quote unquote, or some adults that are toxic, but so that changed a little, when Sandbox fully opened. But for the most part, it's just a good group of people for sure. And then like HMR runs like a crew every night, and she's got full lobby almost every night, and just like a good group of people in there. It rotates, but I'd say the main group of say 16 to 20 are the same every night, and then a little bit of rotation out where people are off eating dinner and other people, but it's usually a pretty full lobby, and it's just a good group of people, and everybody's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've experienced it with your group too. I would absolutely match exactly what you just said. So, that's weird. My tablet's listening to me now, and it's typing out. Oh, that's creepy. It's typing out what I'm saying. That is creepy. It does that once in a great while, and I don't even know why, because I didn't think I had it on. Ew.
I turn mine off, and every now and again it'll say, "Can you please repeat that?" And I'm like, "No, I can't."
You're
actually.
not supposed to be listening.
Yeah, no, not going to.
All right, I'm going to give you some time as we travel to another one of your maps to think about your answer for who is your favorite builder.
Favorite builder. Okay, let's find a map and we will think about that. Let's go.
Sad little snowman. I'm sorry, dude. So sad for you.
Well, he doesn't have a sword in his back like he used to, at least.
Oh my.
It was a sad death.
Yeah. All right, we're here at Storage Wars, and I recognize a face over here. We've got the Saw Guy. Nice. All right, and we're here to explore, but learn who Nosferatu.
There you go.
I will get it right one of these times. Nosferatu.
Oh, I'm going to fall back. I'm going to fall back on one of your earlier questions about stuff for the developers. One of the things that I know probably everybody's mentioned it, but you mentioned the clown up there. If we could have an inventory of stuff, even if we couldn't share it, it would be amazing to be able to bring it to your next map without copying the whole map. And, I mean, let's say they charged you $2 a month for storage. I mean, like, some people might hate that, but it's like it would make life so much easier than me rebuilding the little clown on every one of my maps somewhere. Just to have it sitting somewhere would be really nice to have, just, and be able to share it would be even better. But just if you could have your own library.
So do you have one of these cute little guys in every single one of your maps then?
I did. My last few, I did not put them in.
Okay.
Just because of that reason, because I didn't want to build it again. I was tired of building them.
Awesome. Well, we're on the question, and I know you're not trying to avoid. Who is your favorite builder?
Yeah, in all honesty, that is a really hard question because I like some people's maps just awesomeness on playability, some because of visuals, some because of like group playability versus like smaller groups like versus large groups. So there is just so much diversity in what makes a good map. So I'm gonna give it a duo. God, it's hard to say it. I kind of need a trio, but
okay, I'll give you a trio.
Yeah, okay. So trio, I think B. Wayne just does amazing things with his maps. Like his characters are just beyond amazing. He usually goes with bigger maps, which I actually don't mind, but a lot of people do. Maps too big, and it's like, yeah, but it's amazing. So visuals on his are just like unparalleled. More Cowbell is super meticulous, also puts so much thought into playability and has a strong visual with all of his stuff. It's just his mini golf one, just all of them are just like super cool. Lily pad, like we started off with, and then Arms Reach are a different type. His aren't pretty in that aspect, but they're just so meticulous and like everything is measured out, laid out literally. And they all play really well, and they're not colorful and pretty. They're almost the opposite, and but in a good way. He's working the other end of the spectrum. He doesn't want rainbows and lollipops. He's got the more grim end, and so it's like kind of three different spectrums of things that I like about stuff.
Okay, very nice. Where
so
are
this
we?
one was storage. This is Storage Wars, and so this was a very easy build until I started to try to loot up the damn lockers. And I didn't realize when you build this many, you got to put stuff in them all. And that was just the worst job ever. And I was going to use like build stuff in all of them. And I started making stuff, and I probably had like 4 lockers full. And I'm like, oh no, this is not happening. I'm using assets. Like, it was just such a dumb idea. But this map plays really well, and there's people get frustrated because I've got a lot of like in here, there's kind of vents you can walk through that will let you through even luxury visual. So there's, and then when you spawn, some of the spawns like right here. Again, I put arrows on the ground, so I didn't think it was that hard to figure out how to get out. But people are like, I'm stuck in this room. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like,
follow the
it's
arrow.
2-story. There, like, if you come back in here, there's 3 exits on this thing. I'm like, there's arrows on all of them. How are you stuck? Like, it's just like, but almost every time I come in this map, somebody says something about being stuck. I mean, you can go out through that wall. You can go out through this vent up here.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's several of those rooms. You can see wherever there's a vent, you can go through the wall.
Okay.
And but this map plays really good, especially with a decent lobby, because there's plenty of cover, and it plays fairly quick. Actually, kind of. I think I had the kills set at 30, and everybody kind of complained about that because it ends too quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good
Yep.
stuff.
So yeah, the clown was in here, so had to throw those in.
Uh-oh. Got a
And
lost
hopefully it will
connection
come back.
for
There
a
it is.
second.
Yep,
There it is. Yep.
It's
Perfect.
back. And you'd already found the little jump tube things. So those jump tubes take you from one end of the map to the other. They do not get used as much as I thought they would. I thought people would go in them, but up in the upper corners, and actually in the big portion of the map too, on the platforms, is 5-star stuff in every corner.
Okay.
But yeah, the jump tubes just take you one side to the other, and I hear it maybe once during gameplay. Like, nobody ever actually uses them. And if I'm in, I'll tell them, I'm like, hey.
And
see the X's on the ground? That means you can't go in, and that's why it's lava. And green means good.
Green means good. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So when somebody's using these vents, you can hear them across the map. So you know somebody's going to be popping out one of these.
You do.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And then just to get out, here we go. Now, you said you built a couple of things. I'm assuming that these tricycles are one of the things that you built before you decided
tricycles
to use
were,
outfit.
and yep, and I think I deleted everything else because I was tired when I was doing it, and I wanted to finish the map, and I stayed up and I looted all the lockers, which literally took, I think, a few hours, and I was very frustrated at that point. And I was just like, I just want it done. And so
I would
it was a root canal at that point. Yeah.
Oh, funny. I like the tricycles though. I love the whole like clown in every single map and stuff like that. That's cool. What about, let's see, let's talk about some of your best experiences in Sandbox. Whether that's somebody that you've met or learning how to build or finishing your first map or your most favorite map, or what brings you back to Sandbox every day?
So brings me back to Sandbox. I actually made a lot of. I'm not into the online dating, online let's meet somebody situation, and then I have to lie and say I've met a lot of people in here, and now we're Facebook friends or on the phone friends, or we haven't met because we're mostly all different states and stuff, but actually kind of got true friendships out of these things, and just some really cool people we check in every so often, meaning, and when I say every so often, I mean every day or every other day. So quite often I'll say, just
More
saying
than
hi,
you
not
talk
that
to
it's
family,
long conversation. Yeah, for real. And it's, and some of it is through the sandbox itself, and some of it's through just, playing, in the squads or whatever. But it's, I would not have expected, asked for, or wanted it, but it was something that happened, and a good thing,
Beautiful thing. Yeah. Okay. Nosferatu357. Any other maps you want to adventure off to before we say la vie?
Let me see if there's any other one that you might want to look at. So, yeah, let's go to... Let's go to this one.
Okay. Gonna check out one more map here.
So this one I'm taking us to...
built us blowfish.
It's so this one was something I cracked myself up with making this map.
This
and if you
is
come
adorable.
up above, so if you come up above the fish tank.
Yep.
And so there's a player that I play with every night, Puffy the Bong Slayer.
Yep.
And so this was a tribute to him. If you see, come all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a tribute map to him. And if you go back down towards, so that's a pre-spawn up there. You spawn inside the bong.
Okay.
And if you come down in here, it says bong water, do not drink.
Yep.
And so
the
fishies are swimming inside his bong water. So it's it's kind of a fling and kill map, and it's a fun little map though.
This looks cool. I like this a lot. They're adorable, and you have different layers, which I love. You have that like nice water feature that that lily pad map also feels. So very cool. I love that. And these guys are so cute. Now,
so I just thought this was kind of a funny map.
It plays really well. Lots of fling in
here.
Yeah,
it plays. Yep, lots of fling. Oh, you know what? Actually, now that you say that, who I think Red Rum. I apologize if I get the wrong person. Somebody added this right here. You can go down through the treasure chest.
Ooh, treasure
and there's a
chest.
Hidden loot. Yep, and there's a hidden loot room through that treasure chest.
Me likes
and I think Armstreach might have made the bounce pad because otherwise it was hard to get out of here. But yeah, this is like 5-star loot down in here.
Nice. And, okay.
And a few people helped with the fish tank up above too. Not the fish, but actually just putting a light fixture in and stuff. Red Rum helped up above put the hood and light bulb and all that stuff on, and the lid on the fish tank and stuff, because before it did not have one.
I swear I'm not... I swear I'm not pushing the joystick. Don't yell at me. I can't get out.
Right?
I swear I'm not.
So it's... I can't remember. I think it was Armstreach, and I might be wrong. I don't remember, but was trying to trying to align that, and I'm like, I got the same thing, and they're like, every time they hit it, they're going right out, and I'm like, how? Okay, and there I did it first try. So, but you do have to hit it a certain way. There, you got it.
Yeah, there's an angle. Okay.
And this one again has a million spheres because of all the air bubbles.
I was just going to mention pricey.
But yeah, but Red Rum put like light bulb in the hood on top of the fish tank and stuff like that, which did make it a lot better map actually.
Oh, very cool.
But it's a fun play map, and some people spawn camp up here on the fish that are out of water and wait for you to jump up and kill you, but that's okay.
I love it. Very cute. Well, I know you said that you focus on playability, but there's a lot of artistic work that goes into the things that you just showed me tonight. I think that this is an absolutely adorable map, which I don't know if adorable is how you want feedback, but I think it is. I would definitely come in here and play. I could see how this would be really fun to just like come in and laugh and have a really good time. So all of the maps that you've showed me tonight, you have mentioned hours of work and people who have come in and inspired you or helped you and add, all of these different features into your map. I think they're awesome. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for joining me here tonight to interview you.
Oh, thanks for hosting.
Yeah, watch you talk about all of your maps, show them to everybody here in chat. I hope everybody in chat enjoyed watching them. List some of the other maps that you've made that we didn't get a chance to check out.
Let's see what other ones I have published right now. Well, we had Click Click Boom. We have let's see, 845, which is the group that HMR runs, and so I'm kind of doing a tribute map there. It's going to slowly evolve. I'm going to build an area for kind of each one of the people that are in 845, and so you, for instance, might end up with a quarter of the map, but it's going to slowly pie down because there's a lot of there. So as I make stuff, I'm going to start slicing away part of your portion. So it's going to be a very convoluted map, but it's just kind of a tribute to the people in there. Had Viking Valor, Just Cowbells, and I wonder who that's named after. Maybe more cowbells. Hot Drop, and I kind of replicated the pods from the normal map and made one called Hot Drop. Iced, which is a giant refrigerator. Pinball Madness. I have another one. I don't remember what I called the movie theater one, or drive-in theater. I have another drive-in theater one there, and right now the name is, because all the names are jumbled right now.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for your share this evening. I hope that we get to maybe explore some of these maps and some of the testing that you're building or play together in the future. And I hope you have a lovely evening. So thank you.
You as well. Thank you, Tipsy. Thank you.
Time to say goodbye, guys. I'm going to do it one more time. Here we go. Nosferatu357. Did I say it right?
Indeed. You did.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Checking out our maps here in Population One. Thank you so much on Facebook, on Kick, and Twitch. You guys have been amazing. For now, I'm going to go ahead and send you on to somebody else who's playing Population One. And for you on Facebook, thank you for joining. On Kick, thank you for popping in to say hello. I'm only going to be rating on Twitch, so let's go ahead and see who we've got here. I think I know who I'm going to send you to. Let's go on over to one of our VIP clan members. And hopefully you guys either already follow, and if you don't, go ahead and say hello and drop a follow. Support our Population One streamers. They're the ones sharing our content out there. Go over and say hello to VIP Ace. And other than that, guys, that's it. I'll catch you on the flip side.